Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Corey, aka Mr. Manage if you haven't been here before, and today's video is pretty simple. You see the thumbnail. I'm going to tell you why I sold my Camaro, and as well as answer some other questions that I see popping up on the channel a lot. Before we do that, quick update on what was being sold. Wicker Bill's gone. I'm going to update that. If you want to know what else is being sold, you can stay to the end of this video and there'll be a link to the other video where all the links to things that are being sold are on there. I'm also going to add my car cover. I forgot about that. So if you have any 5th gen Camaro, it doesn't matter if it's an SS or not, I have a Camaro car cover that I used to use when I stored my car. It's just something that's nice to have. If you don't store your car year round, then you don't need it. If you do store your car, periodically, you don't want dust or anything getting on it. This is a nice cover. It's fitted. So I'll be also selling that. But let's dive right in. People keep asking, why'd you sell your Camaro? I was just reading the comments from one gentleman who was like, did you truly sell it to move on to another build or what? So here's the deal with the Camaro. I couldn't do anything else that was supported. So if I wanted to boost it, for example, and I already had cams in, I'd have to redo valve springs, which was fine. I was okay with that. But getting a boost, a supercharger kit from Will at Overkill is impossible. As far as my whole experience with that, I'll get to that in a second. It was impossible to get, and I wasn't willing to take the risk for it. And even if I did, then you're talking about a whole different fuel system, Z01 fuel pump, different injectors, which I couldn't find what injectors he used because he was so secretive about it. There's other people that I tried reaching out to. It was just a lot of stuff that was like boosting it. It's not gonna work for me to put it up to my standards, because if I boost it, I'm not just gonna boost and be like, yeah, it works. I'm pushing, like, no, I want it to be working well. If any of you guys have been here for, I don't know, a while, how I am, how I do things. So I didn't want to half-ass it, so to speak. So that wasn't an option. Obviously on our vehicles, on the LFX, we only have downpipes, so turboing it was a huge issue. If I wanted to turbo it, then I'd probably have to go underbody rear setup, and that was just a lot, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So the only other option, which I was seriously entertaining, I was gonna put a 2JZ in that V6. Now, I never told anybody about it, any of you guys. I called shops to see if it was even possible, and it was. I'd have to go full standalone ECU, but at that point it'd be a race car. And that's kind of where I drew the line. So yeah, you guys are probably like, that would have been badass, and it would have, but it would have been like a $13,000 project, which would have been doable. But after that, that car could never get sold. No one is gonna, you have to find a very specific buyer to buy that Camaro, that was a V6 with a 2JZ and it's swapped for the money that I'm gonna put. I never get my money back out of it because it's cool. It's got a cool factor, but it's not a daily driver. It's not gonna have like your AC and stuff like that. It's not gonna have like power steering maybe. It's most likely not, because it's a race vehicle and I'm okay with that. It's gonna have bucket seats. Your radio, your dash is gonna be totally different. ABS probably most likely won't exist if you go standalone and, again, you're trying to make it a full race car. It's not what people want. Now, if there's somebody out there that is looking for that, yeah, okay, then this makes sense, but that's very rare. Most people, in my opinion, that are looking for builds or looking for things to build, they're looking for unmolested cars. And I actually hate that term. I actually hate when people say unmolested. It's a horrible term, but untouched cars. They're looking for like straight up stock cars because they want to put their own touch on it. So I was at that point where if I cross this line and put the 2JZ in it, I wasn't gonna be able to get my money back, which I was okay with, but at that point, if anything happened to that vehicle, I was stuck with it. Or, on the other end of that line, I had the opportunity to sell the vehicle while the market was high and get the most I could from it. Somebody asked me how much I sold it for. It still hurts for how much I sold it for. Let's just say I got pretty close to selling it for what I bought it for. But me and my wife did the math, and I put $20,000 into that car in total over the course of me owning it. That's labor and other things, made close to 20. I think it was 17 and change, not exactly 20, that's over exaggerated, but I think it was like $17,500. And I lost every single bit of it. So the money I got back didn't even replace the value of the car itself from when I bought it. It was definitely almost twice as much as the car is valued, but it, you know, in the old market, but in this current market, it was close to what it was being valued at. Some of the numbers I got offered were insane. Like you wouldn't believe it. So I took what I could, which was the highest one I could, paid off the rest of my Camaro loans, had a little bit left, and then I used that extra money and just set it aside. I sold my Ford Focus, which was my daily driver, and then I bought another daily, which I also am going to be modding, so there's 2 vehicles. But essentially, that's where I was at. I was like, hey, I can, you know, move on with the channel, sell my car, get the money, buy something that's going to be easier to work on and has a bigger platform to work on, or I completely engine swap this because there's like no support for this. Nobody wants to tune the LFXs, like not here in Wisconsin anyways, and that's very frustrating for me. Like nobody wants to do it. So there's places I called. I promise you, I've called places and they're like, oh yeah. I was like, hey, you know, I'm calling for like tuning on my Camaro or like stuff from my Camaro. Oh yeah, what do you got? I got a V6. Nope, not interested. I can't tell you how many times I heard that on the phone. Shot down, shot down, shot down. Nobody wants to deal with it. And since I still owed money on the car, it was hard for me because I didn't want to work on it myself or tune it myself and go too deep in to where, again, I mess up the car and now the car has no value. 2JZ, lose complete value. No one's going to want to buy that unless it's a very specific buyer for the price that I would want to get rid of it for, right? I'd have to get rid of it for what I put into the car, Brembos and all that shit, you know, seats, blah, 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 and the 2JZ swap, which I would never get out of it, sell it and get this number, which will pay off my loan and give me money to invest in something else and move forward with my life and with the channel, or the last option, which I just said, blow it up myself or do something myself that deems it unsellable, period, and now I'm stuck with a bill I have to pay for this car every month and I cannot sell it. So I was like, it's not worth it. I'd rather get something that I can most likely buy outright, and if I blow that up, that's fine because I own it. If I have something that I own, I can justify blowing it up and leaving it in the garage until I can fix it, because guess what? I'm not making a payment on it. It just sits there. So I was at a point where I couldn't, it just didn't make sense, like financially and for the future of this channel. So that's why I sold my Camaro. I love that car. I mean, that was my first sport car. I put so much money into it, so much time and effort. I built my whole channel around it. I mean, I gained all of you guys from it, which, by the way, I looked at my stats. 90% of you are not subscribers. Like 90% of the people that view my videos are not subscribers. So the 10%, thank you very much. To the 90%, just hit the subscribe button. You don't have to hit the bell, just hit the subscribe button. It's not gonna do anything. You don't have to have an account. Like, please, just hit the subscribe button, help a brother out. So that's where I was at. So I did what I felt I had to do. Some people hate it, some people are supportive, and I appreciate it. I will tell you that from my subscriber count, I have not gained a single subscriber since I posted my last video that said that I sold a Camaro. So people just like halted, which is good. I didn't lose any, but I didn't gain any more. So people are constantly like, what's the next build? What's the next build? So I will tell you that I have found my next build. I will be coming out with a video on it. I have bought my next build, which I'm pretty excited about. Again, I'm going to be able to do everything myself, build the motor, tune it, because I own this thing. I bought it outright and I was just done with it. So I think it's going to be pretty cool to be able to put my own touch on it. I don't plan on selling this one because when I'm done with it, it's going to be sick. But we will see what happens as far as that goes. But the main point of this video was why I sold the Camaro, and I also wanted to answer some unanswered questions, which I'm gonna do now. So I know it's a long video, but I apologize, but if you wanna hear about like the cams and stuff like that and where it ended, this is what this part of the video is gonna be for. So, no one noticed I added the Street Fighter spoiler on there. I added it, it looked really good. I already told you why I did it. I did have to drill out some holes, or the holes were already there, but I had to bore them out a little bit to get things to fit. I think one bolt actually ended up not being able to thread, but that was fine. I think the instructions said you can have one as long as it's not consecutive. I did get that vinyl wrapped with my sponsor at the time. That was, you know, Automotive Vision Designs in Milwaukee. So it came unfinished. They vinyl wrapped it. It was gloss black, matched the car, threw it on. It was good. So that was as far as that goes. If anyone had any questions. What did I do with my seats and my harness bar? That was in the last video because I sold it. As soon as I sold the Camaro before you guys even knew about it. And I immediately posted that stuff. I sold all of it for, it was a steal. You know, people picked it up like that. I put that online, gone. I put my subs online, gone. So it wasn't even like a harness bar, gone. So that stuff sold very fast. People ask, hey, what about the cams? I never heard anything. I wish you would have finished, stuff like that. I did fit. The car was done being tuned. At that point, I was just sending Will stuff for like final touch-ups. Ever since I had the issue with my car where the engine went into limp mode, I never had an issue. So what happened was Will sent me a tune, and I had asked him to change my thermostat for when it opened, because it was opening at like 212, and I didn't want it to ever get that high. So I was like, hey, can you open it below? So he tried to put it to where it opened at 199, and when he did it, it put a glitch in the system to where when I uploaded that tune, the car went into limp mode. He tried doing that at the same time he gave me the base tune for my cam. So he's like, I think there was a hiccup in the system, just try and re-upload it. So I re-uploaded the tune, he sent me another one, but he took out the 199 adjustment, and the car never had an issue. Then after that, he adjusted the thermostat for when it opened fully or whatever it was, or the fan, or whatever it was. I think it was the fan then, when the fan turned on, not the thermostat, you can't adjust the thermostat. The fan, he adjusted when the fan turned on back to 199, or I think it ended up being 205 instead of 199, which is what made the difference, and the car never had an issue. So as far as Will goes, if I was in the platform again, I would never go to that man. He talked to me for a little bit, and it's also not fair for me to say like, and that's the thing with me when I talk to Will, or a lot of people that talk to Will, they're like, yeah, they've had tuning from him, so they were like, yeah, you got to give him time, or you know, Will's the best of the best. They only had good things to say about him because they got what they needed and they were out of the game. But for you guys, the people that are counting on Will and waiting for him, it's very frustrating. It was frustrating for me. So I understand you, and it's not fair for me to say like, oh yeah, he's a good person because he helped me out, because at the end he didn't help me out, and you know, all honesty, I would never trust that man with my money again. I gave him $5,200 for the supercharger kit when I was first gonna buy it. And honestly, if I had the supercharger kit on that car, I probably would have kept it. But he kept it. I asked him for my stuff after a week. I asked him for my tracking after a week and a half. I asked him I started my tracking for 2 weeks. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. Like, that's mortgage, you know, that's more than like 3 months worth of mortgage. I can't just have $5,200 floating out here. So I got my money back from PayPal. After that, I was willing to get a tune from him, which he helped me with, and everything was good. But I'm glad I didn't get the supercharger, because then it would have been up to him to tune it, and I would never go to him. He doesn't care about his customers as much as people like don't dog Will or whatever. Like, he has a good product. He's very knowledge based. He has horrible customer service. Absolutely dreadful. There's no excuse for somebody giving you that much money and you just playing around with it and saying, oh, I didn't see your email. There's no excuse. You should never do that. And I would never run a business like that. So as far as he goes, if I were you, I would find someone else. Like, do not no, it's not worth it. Trust me. Cams. After the tune, after you adjusted it, great. I have nothing but good things to say about the Mace cams. You simply have to find somebody to tune them. Those things made a huge difference across the whole damn power band. When I was driving, you could really tell the difference with the cam. Sometimes I was scared to go up to 6,500 because I didn't want it to go in the limp mode again, but I've ripped it to like 6,700, 6,800, and you can just only feel the car gaining. So I would say that it by far is my favorite mod, which I'll come up with a video on those, but I never really put it on the dyno. I had a dyno date. The Friday, I sold my vehicle on Tuesday. That Friday I had a dyno scheduled to see how much power I was pushing. There was another guy similar to what I had. He didn't have nearly as much stuff as me. It was Will Spitter 23. He had his cams on and tuned by somebody, and he ended up pushing like 324 wheel. I believe that I was around that with my E85 and everything that I had done. I'm pretty sure I was definitely over the 300s, no doubt. But I think I was definitely in the 320 range, but there's no way for me ever to know. So as far as the cams go, would I buy the cams again? Do I think they're a great idea? Yes. If I could change anything, I would put, I think it was 80-pound springs, valve springs, on while I was there. I would have had my mechanic do it. You know, in the case that I own the car, I would have just done it myself because it's just easier to do it. And if you want to go boosted, you're gonna have to upgrade them anyways. You should have them higher. So I would have just changed the springs. That's the only thing I would have done different. But you know, it doesn't make a difference if you're going stock or you ever don't plan on going past your rev limiter. You can do it with a stock engine. As you can see, I did it. Cams, that's where I was at with that. Everything else on the car, the same gentleman asked me, hey, you don't miss the car, I can't, you know, only if you would have kept it a little longer. Yeah, I missed the car. Like, there's days I don't think about it. There's other days I'm like, dude, like, man, today would be a nice day to cruise in the car that was already built, like done. It wasn't full. I hate when people say fully built. Yeah, my car's fully built because I put a cold air intake and exhaust and cams in it. That's not a fully built motor, homie. Fully built, taken down, bare bones, shaved, bored out, or whatever you want to do, forged internals. That's a fully built motor. This was not fully built. This was just modified to all hell as much as I could without fully building it. I miss that. I miss having that. I miss being able to get my car and drive and turn heads with the car and stuff like that. But what I don't miss is the mental like game of what's next. How are you going to retain subscribers? What can you do that's not going to cost you, you know, saving for 3 years before you can do it? I don't miss that. The car that I have now, it's in pretty good condition. I'm already like starting to find myself doing maintenance things, but like I learned so much from that build that I'm trying to make sure that everything I do now is not wasted. If I'm going to take this part of the engine apart, I'm going to make sure that I have all the parts that I need. So I'm at that boat with that. So I miss the car, yes, but I think it's what's best for the channel. Am I going to lose subscribers? I don't know, but at the end of the day, I never did this for subscribers. I did this to help people who wanted to know how to do things themselves, and that's the whole point of the channel, being Mr. Manage, is helping people manage their, I'm not helping you manage your money, but I'm telling you like, hey, this can be done. Like, it's really not that expensive. You could choose what you want to spend a lot of money on, and you can choose what you don't want to spend money on. And that's pretty much what part of this channel is you guys were, some of you guys were inspired by it, and that's the point is, hey, this is doable. Even if you have a V6, it can be badass. It's badass the way it is. It doesn't mean that if you don't have an SS, you can't be part of the car club. Like, anybody who loves cars should be part of the car community, and if you really just save up a little bit of money and maybe not drink every weekend or not go paintball every weekend if that's you, or give up something that you love just for a little bit, you know, for a couple of months, you can afford to do other hobbies in your life like cars. Like, they're not as bad as people think. So that was the point of the channel, and it wasn't really to retain subscribers. So I caught myself saying, hey, how do I retain subscribers? You know, this is important. What if my channel crashes? Well, at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. Like, it's for those of you that want to know how to do this, and that those of you that I inspired, like, that's what it's about. It's about showing you guys that it's doable and anyone can have a badass car and anyone can enjoy it. So that being said, I'm at the point now again where I don't care. If you don't want to subscribe to the channel and you want to leave, cool, go for it. You're going to miss the next build. There's plenty of people out there building cars. I'm not the only one, and I'm sure mine is not the most badass. So go for it. But for those of you that want to stay, thank you for staying with me, and I'm going to show you the most I know from this platform. Once I get into this platform, I'm going to try my best to become an expert on it. Just like I'm not an expert on GM's high feature, but on the LFX, I know quite a bit. And on that chassis in general, I know quite a bit. So again, that's why I am continuing this way, and I also help me get rid of the Camaro. People keep asking me questions like, oh man, it sucks. I started watching your channel because because I have a V6 and it sucks that you're gone. I'm still here. I still have knowledge, guys. You can still message me and I will still help you. I will help you with anything I can. The people that message me and never watch the videos, those people I'm always gonna say, watch the video, watch the video. And it's not because I want you to watch my video, but it's because I put the video out there for a reason. People see a title and they'll just DM me on Instagram and ask me questions. And I'm like, you didn't even watch. Like, I had to DM people and I had to go find people and get turned down multiple times and get the answer, so that way I can make a video and give you the answer so you don't have to go through what I went through, and the video's out there and then you're coming to me still and you're asking me questions, and it's like, I would love to answer your questions, but I already did, and I did it in a very thorough manner, and I don't have all that shit just uploaded at the top of my head. It's not like there all the time, like Camaro V6, Camaro V6, like it's not there. So, you know what I mean? I don't mean to be rude and like shoo you guys away, but it's like, you didn't watch the video. So like, if you want me to help you, help yourself first and watch the video. And if you come to me and say, hey, this is not your video at all, this is a question, it's gonna get answered. But if you ask me something that's in the first minute and a half of my video, including the intro, meaning the first 30 seconds of the meat of the video, I'm not answering your question because you never watched the video. So if you have questions, I am here. Browse the channel. There's 96 videos on my channel and 90 of them on Camaros, on Camaro parts. Most of the shit you can think about, intakes, exhaust, wide bands, even supercharging things you need, big brake upgrade, spoilers, taking out anything cosmetic, including the radio on the inside, E85 install, different types of oil catch cans, braces, lowering springs, tint, headlights, maybe door handles I had in there, subwoofers, anything you could possibly think of, I most likely have. Footwell kit, like, it's there. So look through them, and if you need help after that, come contact me. Okay, 20 minutes. There's no way any of you made it to this part. It's gonna be a long video, but I wanted to clear the air on why I sold the Camaro. I hope this answered questions. So let's recap. I sold the Camaro, it was financially responsible and the best time to do it, and made the most sense for me in my life. Do I miss it? Absolutely. Would I do the cams again? Absolutely. Do I think that it's worth the money? Yes. Would I go to Will again? No, I would not. Find yourself a different tuner. For the love of God, get a different tuner that is gonna be there and actually be there to support you. What's my next build? I have it, I will tell you soon. Will I be able to still help you with anything you need? Absolutely. And I think that might be it. If I missed something, let me know. But just wanted to clear the air so people stop asking me the same question over and over and over. What'd you sell it for? Why'd you sell it? Yada, yada, yada. Like, dude, trust me, I'm not happy about it either, but it had to be done in my opinion. So, as usual, just a guy living life. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned, so I'm gonna be going over my daily driver, some modifications that I already done on my daily driver, my new build, which I think by the time that video comes out, there already be some stuff, excuse me, that's done to that. And we're just gonna keep plowing through these videos as much as possible. I'm trying to upload once a week, which I'm doing pretty good at, but I think I'm gonna start uploading more than once a week, if I can. So anyways, sorry for the long video. Don't forget to check out the other video for what's being sold, and I will catch you guys for the next one. Again, just a guy living life. See ya, bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.